Okay.
Yeah, watch the fuck out. Dude, the recommended bitrate for Periscope is 800 and I have 3000.
Jesus.
It'll be fine. They'll live. I hope. What does the YouTube stream do? I have no idea.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it automatically tweeted it. That's actually beautiful. I love Periscope. And it includes it in the restream chat. That's kind of funny.
I almost want to open up your stream so I can see the millions of comments.
Oh yeah, okay, it's on YouTube now too.
Set my reminder.
You can watch on desktop Periscope, yeah. It's, I don't know if there's an app, but you can watch on the website. Hello, Joe. Okay, so I think everything's working fine for now.
That's good.
Oh, streaming app. Oh, the way I'm just using Restream.io. I don't know if there's actually a way to do it without that. I have no idea how it works, but one of the channels you can do is Restream. On Restream.io is Periscope, and it just works. I don't know if you guys have heard of Friday Night Cranks. It was a live prank call show, like the last 10 years. They started doing a new web show, and they just casually mentioned Restream.io and how they're streaming to Twitter. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that it supports Twitter. I kind of want that. So I stole it. Stole their idea. Except it's not really anything bad.
Is there not any sort of chat on Twitter, just on YouTube?
No, there is. It's on Periscope. Like
Oh,
if you
screw
open
that
this,
noise.
if you open it on Twitter, you should be able to chat in there.
I did though.
Wait, I can link you. I can just link you the chat. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. Let's open up Discord. Gotta go fast. Okay. Let me know if this works for you.
I will.
Alright.
Outlook, not good.
Hmm?
I'm gonna go with a no. Maybe. I don't know. I'll just look at the YouTube chat.
Wait, did you open my link?
Yeah, it's just a black screen.
Well, yeah, no, because no one's chatting. It should work though. Like, chat messages should appear. Hopefully.
The watch together has less delay than the YouTube stream.
Well, to watch together, I'm gonna start it at the same time as the video, so it should have no delay.
2 people disliked your stream on YouTube.
Are you kidding?
I'm one of those 2 people though.
You're getting banned.
I'm getting banned.
You're getting banned from this.
Oh, now I'm
Direct
definitely
message.
liking it.
Can't believe you would do that.
Well, now I'm
I'm gonna like
definitely
my
keeping
own.
my dislike there.
I'm gonna like my own thing. Oh boy. The delay on this is actually not that bad. Like, I'm watching my own stream on my phone and it's 7 seconds. Hello, Gabby Smith. I don't know if that's supposed to be a different name. I don't know how Periscope actually does accounts. I know
I
that.
always wanted to like make an alias that was just like a different person's first and last name that I didn't know. So it's just like I'd be like, my name is Gabby Smith, and that would just be my alt. Neither of those are either of my names.
That's what I have to do on Twitch. Is this a bot? This seems like a bot. Dude, what if it's a bot?
Holy shit. It's a bot.
Dude, this is totally a bot. You're getting banned. Soon.
Why are you telling?
That's good. Okay, so our bot is not a bot. I like you, Gabby. You're a beautiful person.
You have to promote it in the Room 500 Discord. Or actually, I'll do it because I'm not doing anything.
Sorry if that made things weird. I promise I'm a normal person. Very normal. What are you promoting?
I'm promoting your stream for the
Why would
TAS.
you do that? No one should see it.
No one should see it. Let's just end the stream now.
That would be the perfect time. Yes. God, I hate the soundtrack.
I'm not listening to it, so I wouldn't know.
That's actually very good. I wouldn't want you to. Your ears don't deserve it. Dude, my AGDQ Periscope streams got like 20 viewers. I
That's
can't
funny.
believe that I have less viewers now. It's just some people hate Pac-Man, I guess. Well, it's basically 4 o'clock. Central time.
Actually, it's 5. It's 5
Alright.
o'clock in 10 seconds.
Alright, it is
You're behind
time.
schedule.
It is time. Why did the... Look, that timer wasn't supposed to keep going. It's okay, though. Alright. Here we go.
Oh, you did decide to do live split?
Yeah. Alright, the watch together should be synced now, so you can just watch on there. Oh, I should close the Pac-Man music before it interrupts the game.
I am watching the watch together.
Alright.
Some bomb ass menuing.
Oh, yeah. So, the very start of this, we're just gonna skip this tutorial section. And skip the entirety of the first room. And now skip this elevator. The fastest form of movement in this game is rev rolling. That's what the TAS is gonna do most of the time.
Why am I here?
Otherwise, it's gonna just be jumping. Walking is slower than jumping, so you would ideally only walk very short distance. This room, you'd normally need to hit a switch on the top of it to lower this floor that you can walk across, but you can grab a ledge there and skip this entire room too. And more elevators, of course. It's more of a tutorial level, so it's actually really short either way, but pretty much just gonna go across. So that was the first Spectral fight, and by hitting a checkpoint and voiding out, you can just skip it. Those fights, there's at least one in every single level, but because you can skip all of them, or almost all of them, they're actually not that much of a nuisance in a speedrun. If you hit that elevator early on, while it's going down, you can end that level faster.
Much to my dismay, we're skipping one of the best lines of audio in the game by skipping this elevator.
Another one of those rev roll plates completely skipped.
It's like the most true thing ever, though. Like, that's my exact reaction whenever I see a referral plate. I'm like, just like, those stupid fucking referral plates. I actually like the Spectral portal skips better on the GameCube version, which is what the TAS is on, because usually it's actually be kind of creative to skip a fight.
Yeah, on the PC version you can just bounce up the portals, but in this version you actually have to do some special stuff.
I forgot how like slow this level is compared to every other level in the game.
Right there, the TAS did a rev roll jump onto a slope, and by doing that, you can extend a rev roll infinitely until the slope is up. And that's going to be used later on in the run for a few out-of-bounds skips and stuff. It's a really useful tech. That was a super jump. If you climb a climbable surface on the very edge, and then you press the punch button, you will just get shot up. You're going to see more of those later on also.
Yeah. Also gonna see the, like, handicapped cousin of super jumps in the run, too.
Oh yeah, next level.
Pseudo super jumping.
This is a really great game. Yeah. This is like Pac-Man World 2, except they ruined it. This is a Talkman section. It's really boring. and drawn out and basically an auto-scroller.
Except you can twirl your arms,
That's all I want to do,
which
bro.
was previously unknown to Woofer.
Look, you can't have such high standards for my game knowledge.
This arena is actually reused for a later Pac-Man level, and it's identical, except for the plates on the floor, the things that the
Yeah,
enemies
and
pop
what
out
you
of.
actually have to do, because later on it's actually an auto-scroller.
Later on, you just have to. Yeah, it's literally an auto-scroller.
It's on a timer. It's okay, it's almost over, I promise. The pain will end soon. We'll get to the better levels. So yeah, that's the end. Now we're moving on to Spectral Cliffs.
The objectively second or third most boring level in the RTA run, but one of the better ones.
Yep. So you can do a rev roll jump to land on one of those platforms before they start going up.
And that's what he did.
Yeah. Right here, we're just gonna skip these time keys by going on this conveniently placed ring.
I like how they don't like represent time or keys at all, but that's what
Yeah,
they're called.
they're rings. Yeah, the points do absolutely nothing in this game. They're just for a high score screen, which is why all the
They're
pack
for
dots.
max percent.
Yeah, all the pack dots in this game, they're just there for no reason. You'll also see a bunch of skips use rev roll jumps. That's very useful. So here we're actually not going to do the Spectral fight. In the last 20 seconds of the TAS, we're just spent waiting around for a global timer so we can do a super jump here. I don't understand why there is a global timer for the physics in this game, but there is. So we pretty much had to wait no matter what.
Basically, my theory is that for some stupid reason, every level's geometry shifts constantly, but you can't disprove.
I could see it, honestly. But yeah, the third fight in this level is actually in the same place as the first fight, so we're just going to super jump up to it.
That we had the
And now we're going to do an infinite rev roll, go on a few out of bounds seams, and skip the third fight as well.
So that just skips like a third of the level, or maybe half of it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, the reason you have to wait and get the specific time for your super jump is because if you don't, you'll void out and you'll die and respawn at the beginning of
Yeah,
the
you
fight.
need to wait for the camera to adjust on that. So that was more time keys. Not much more to say.
There's a lot to say here, though.
Yeah, we're gonna do another infinite rev roll and just completely bypass a Spectral fight that you wouldn't even know existed because it didn't even spawn. Jump over a cutscene and go to the 5th Spectral fight. It's the only one in the level that we're actually gonna do.
You stole my line.
I'm sorry. You can say it too. You can just repeat each other.
We'll finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
I think this is the shortest fight in the level, so it's not really a huge deal.
You might be right. Or the second one shorter. I don't know. They're probably about the same.
I think this one's shorter.
This next room is first room with these blue invisible platforms. These
Yeah,
rooms are really fast.
there's no indication as to where they would be, so this is pretty much just luck.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing there to tell you. The dumb thing about that, though, is if you're trying to practice one of these rooms and you eat the pack dots by accident and you void out to like try again, the pack dots are gone, so it's actually harder than where you try to practice it.
So we are 1/5 of the way through.
6th.
I thought there was 15 levels.
Well, level-wise.
Yeah,
Not
I'm going by
time-wise.
levels. Time-wise, we're about
So
a
this
sixth
is
of the way
Pinky.
through.
The ghosts are on your side in this game, but you wouldn't know because we're just going to ignore them most of the time.
Pinky gets used once in the entire run, in the TAS run. Clyde, the other ghost
Wait, do
counterpart,
you
gets used
use
I think
Pinky?
3 or 4 times. Yeah,
Oh
you
wait,
use
yeah,
her
yeah,
in Irwins
okay.
Fortress
Yeah, I remember
once,
that. Okay. So
and
we
then I
actually
think
jumped
Clyde
over a
gets
fight
used thrice.
trigger right after Pinky there. There was like 2 skips in a row. But yeah, this is another Spectral fight. This one we also have to do.
Yeah,
Luckily, it's
there's
only
no
6.
way to get. Yeah, there's no way to get out of bounds in this room currently, so we have to tolerate the fight.
Very unfortunate.
There aren't many rooms where if you can get out of bounds, you can't do something, but there are a few minor instances of it.
So, these red things, they normally actually take 3 hits, but if you do a butt bounce on the very last frame before you would land on it, you can get a double hit. So the TAS is just gonna take 2 hits for every single one of those plates.
That saves like a lot of time. It probably saves honestly like half a minute over the course of the
Yeah,
task.
because there's a lot of them.
Also, it's noteworthy. Well, I'll let you explain this.
Yeah, we voided out there to skip the first phase of K-Trons. For some reason, in any K-Tron or Spectral fight, if you set a checkpoint during the fight and you void out, it'll actually advance the phase of the fight by 1. That's the only place where it's actually faster to do that, though. And also, we used the electroshock and, like, targeted the K-Tron for a frame and then started walking the other way because you can just do that for some reason. This is an out of bounds.
Yeah, like, that out of bounds is as easy as it looks. There's literally just a hole in the wall for some reason.
Yeah, you just walk through it. The jumps to actually get up there, though, are pretty difficult.
Really tricky. You can definitely do them with practice, but there's easier routes. 2 other easier routes.
Yeah. In this Spectral fight, you can actually hit that button that's behind the portal, but it doesn't actually do anything. And you can stop spawning it too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that you can stop spawning the fight and hit the button, but it doesn't do anything. So, like, you could actually theoretically skip the fight if the button triggered the door before the end of the fight, but it doesn't.
Here we have to just rev-roll these 3 rev-roll plates.
Oh, look! Another one of those rev-roll plates. So, one thing I'm sad about in this task is it skips, or because of me directly, actually, I'm pretty sure, all of my favorite lines of dialogue are skipped.
Yeah, the skips you found skipped all the good lines. You ruined it.
Except, I think we get hardly built for stealth, but that was a Venic thing. Yeah, so we're just gonna go through a door here. We have no idea why that works.
It only works like once out of every 10 runs, but in this task it just happened to work.
You can also go through that second door that he was in, but that happens even less frequently.
Yeah.
It's seemingly RNG, which, speaking of RNG, every time you see Pac-Man jump, it actually is a variable
Yeah, it's
based on
just like
RNG.
real life. You wouldn't see a basketball player jump the exact same height every time, so why would Pac-Man do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know like what the range is. Let's say Pac-Man has like 10 jump heights every time you jump. It's any of those numbers.
This maze is required in
Skip's
order to
somewhat
beat the level.
inconsistent.
Along with, there's 2 other levels that have mazes at the end. Luckily, the TAS is pretty fast with them.
You know what? In here, I thought you just did them for fun.
Oh, that was the all mazes
Fun
TAS.
fact: there's like a 5-second cutscene or something like that at the end of each maze that you can skip that he did not skip during the all mazes test.
Yep. This is the second Spectral level. This one has pretty much just as many skips as the last one. We're just gonna do a rev roll jump here to skip most of this puzzle.
So this level actually has like one of the most hype skips in the run, but there's a quicker way to do it in TAS, so we won't be seeing that.
We're still gonna see the skip. It's just different.
We're just not gonna see the cool version
Look, it's
of
hype
it.
to me. That's what matters.
Yeah, it was
You
your
don't know.
contribution. You're right. I don't. In the grand scheme of things, none of us matter. Oh yeah, this is actually my favorite skip in the whole entire task, probably, is coming up right after this door.
Yeah, right after the fight. I can start explaining it now, actually. There's gonna be 3 potential purple switches. 2 of them are buried in acid. If you hit a purple switch, but have the camera be turned in a certain way, you can actually delay its activation. So we're gonna hit one purple switch that's in acid, delay its activation, then hit another one that's in acid. And that will let us be on top of a thing that's going up with all of the platforms that we need to get across. And that saves a bunch of time. Skips
There's
hitting...
about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it skips having to hit 2 of the switches, and skips a bunch of cutscenes and movement.
So this route is actually varied from the RTA run. Usually you'd trigger the fight and just skip the fight on top of the portal, but if you get like a frame perfect jump with a perfect angle, you can just skip the fight on the invisible platforms.
We're gonna skip the Clyde cutscene here, and now we're gonna skip the need for a crystal by grabbing a ledge that we're not supposed to be able to grab. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. Maybe that was intentional. You never know what these developers were thinking. The reason we activate Clyde here is to use this portal to get across and to prevent a soft lock later in the level. You need to activate Clyde there in order to not soft lock. So here's more invisible platforms. Really don't know where they are, so this was extremely hard to TAS.
Yeah, no indication at all.
Yeah, /S, Kappa. Sarcasm alert. So this purple button that we're going over right now, you actually don't need to hit it because rev roll jumps.
I didn't seem to remember that existed. The common. But we remembered they existed, and we made them great again.
This whole area you can just skip. There's 2 different ways to do it. It's the faster way, as far as I know.
It's faster.
I hope so. I never timed it, so.
It's the other method. You have to go like way out of your way and hopefully make a cycle for the task to even be considered close
Those
to being this
platforms
fast.
don't go down fast enough. So we can just jump on them. Skip the first 2 fights here, and then last fight just doesn't spawn. And now we're just going to knock down this pillar and end the level. Because there's a text box on the screen right now, if you end the level too soon, it actually will soft lock, so we actually had to wait a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah. This next level is Zephyr Heights. It's really
There's
green.
it's actually one of the shortest levels in the entire TAS, but there's a boss fight, which makes it longer than a lot of other levels. And there's also a skip coming up, like right after he defeats these enemies, where he's gonna take damage intentionally, so he can get a boost over the gate, and that saves about like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, right here.
Most of this level is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's a lot of this part is just movement. Not really much different from what you would do casually, besides just doing rev rolls instead.
And taking some minor shortcuts,
Yeah,
like that one.
Just some small stuff.
Nothing to brag home about.
Yep. Putting this propeller in, it starts this platform. You can actually make this first cycle if you're fast enough.
Yeah. Usually in real time, you would just void out and get
Yeah, you would just get it would basically be the first cycle.
So, the reason that he jumped over the rock like that is because it skips a cutscene.
Yep, and right here we're going to do a rev roll jump, touch a checkpoint trigger, void out, and then just skip more stuff with a rev roll jump. That last rev roll jump saves 1.5 minutes, I think.
I wouldn't know, I haven't seen the level without it.
I forgot what the time was, but yeah, it's a lot. We also skipped the key there by doing those wall jumps and hitting a checkpoint, voiding out. It's pretty much all the same 3 times in a row to skip 3 different things.
Around the time that Woofer was tassing, I was actually working on a theoretical skip, but it wound up not working for a multitude of reasons, but even if I had gotten to where I wanted to, it wouldn't have worked because of how the game loads in rooms, unfortunately, which
Yeah,
would have skipped a long
We're going to see later on some examples of the game not really loading in stuff how we would want it to. Usually rooms are either just completely gone or only the collision is loaded while Pac-Man and or the room is invisible. And that makes stuff inconvenient because if we try to go more than one room forward... Oh jeez. That was loud. Watch out. Yeah, so the theoretical skip would have skipped these scorpions. But instead we have to do rev roll plates with some RNG manipulation in order to avoid getting hit.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I was scared for you.
I completely forgot that landlines existed.
You even said silence your phone, and then you didn't.
Yeah. Sadly, I can't silence a landline.
Very unfortunate.
So, fun fact about this game, you can actually kill your boss rooms, like, without the boss interacting with you. You can just go out of bounds and kill yourself.
Yeah, I'd love to kill myself.
Same.
What?
Why?
Sorry, that was uncalled for.
Just lost your monetization on this video.
In RTA, yeah, in RTA, we would need to do this boss in 3 cycles, but if you do rev rolls, since they do so much damage, and you can do so many, you can destroy all of these things in 1 cycle, which means the boss you can just do in 2 cycles. And you can damage boost right onto the rev roll plate, which is really convenient.
Theoretically, 1 cycle is possible.
Maybe. If you were fast enough.
Wait. Did you just notice that floating crystal? Were they always that displaced? I thought they were on top of them.
In the final fight, they're in a better spot, but in this one, they're just fucked up.
I genuinely thought they were always just on the pillars.
Nope.
Okay.
This game's just
and
ugly.
Time beat Gigatron world record.
Yeah, that was the first boss.
Yeah, the second boss isn't much different. This skip is just something you need to witness.
Yeah, that was a lot of out of bounds. Skipped having to fight scorpions, which no one really wants to do.
Yeah, it saves like 40 seconds. So basically there's no ceiling in that first room for some reason, and that lets you go out of bounds in the scenes. And at the very end you saw him do a rev roll jump, which is actually only possible to make it to the other side because they're out of bounds in the room we jumped into, and because there's a little bit of collision sticking out of the room we're skipping. Without those two things, you wouldn't be able to skip the room.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty
the thing about
convenient.
this game is, like, it has, like, a lot of, like, it skips. And then there's one level where that doesn't exist.
Yeah, so, in the last room, we skipped a huge section just by doing a few jumps. And now we're gonna skip another use of Pinky with more jumps. I don't know, this level's just fast.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So
nice.
this level takes advantage of a tech called punch jumping, where whenever your momentum stops on something, you can just punch and reestablish your jump before falling down,
Yeah,
which lets you get up lots of slopes and stuff that you were not intended
yeah, you
to.
normally just wouldn't be able to jump on a slope, you just slide down, but punch jumping lets you bypass that. We skipped another Spectral fight there, but that's kind of the norm.
Yeah, portals have collision.
It's really convenient. It's another maze that's required in order to beat the level. There are two mazes. One of them we actually skipped in Zephyr Heights. Two of the mazes in this game, though, they are not required because they don't end levels, so we just have skips for them. But as far as we know, there's no alternate way to beat these levels besides doing the maze.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
So, interestingly enough, I think, is the final time displayed yet? Or no?
No.
Basically, I made an estimate for the final time before the task began, and I was, like, very specifically right, but then Woofer found a skip that saved, like, 50 seconds, and I was wrong.
Yeah, we'll see that later on. This task is under an hour, though, because I've revealed that much before. Which is really cool. That was the original goal, so... Here we're skipping a 20-second cutscene just by doing a wall jump. And skipping a fight there.
How much time does the fight take?
It's pretty long. I've done it once, just to see, and it wasn't fun. I didn't actually time it, but... My level of boredom was pretty high up, so it must have been kind of long.
So, on that right switch that he just pressed, I actually got an up warp one time. Fun fact.
Yeah,
And then I got a really crazy up warp in the final room in the game. As well, I think it was in my first ever run of the game.
Yeah. It's climbing sections, pretty straightforward.
We're just getting around the level until we can do a super jump.
There were climbable surfaces earlier, but they didn't have ground below them, and you need ground below the climbable surface in order to be able to do a super jump.
Yeah. You just need some sort of collision below you.
Yeah.
Okay, in the next room, a bunch of things are going to happen, really. Next room.
Yeah,
So what he's gonna do
get
is he's
ready.
gonna do an infinite rev roll, up a slope to skip something and then go into, I don't even know, like a super boost jump thing.
Yeah, basically it just
Motion
skips the
somehow and
entirety
skip
of this
like
room.
2 other rooms.
And we're just gonna...
And then he skips the entirety of the next room by doing a wall jump out of bounds because some doors don't have collisions in the center of
And
them.
here
Now he's
we
going
can
inside a
skip all of
pillar.
these pillars and Clyde. Rev-roll jumps are really OP. I'm gonna really use them.
So basically that skips like 2.5 minutes of the level probably.
Yep. That's Pac-Man Dancing. That took me 5 hours to test. This TAS, it does have Super Punch, if you believe hard enough. Story of Super Punch. It is supposedly a cheat that exists, but no
I've
one
never
has
heard
a
this
video of
story.
it, and it's just on this one site. So it's probably fake, but if someone ever discovers Super Punch, maybe it's just in a DS version or something, but if someone ever gets that, I'll be happy. I'll finally
Someone's super punch.
see everything.
Dude, you should be happy, even if it's fake, because that means someone took the time to make fake news about this game.
Yeah, that's what we need.
This was actually pretty difficult to task because of where the collision of the portal was in his life tally.
Yeah.
This next room has one of my favorite skips because it skips a skip.
Yeah, in the old test there was a super jump, but by using the momentum of the gear, you can get launched really high up and just get to the bomb. That saves like 20 seconds in TAS, but probably closer to 40 in RTA, something like that.
Yeah. It saves 40 in RTA. So this is the worst level in the game in my opinion. That's only because it's like teased me so many times in terms of like big skips. There's actually a skip that winds up not working out for literally no reason. Like actually no reason. That would have skipped the entirety of the level. Like we wouldn't even be at this point in the level. The level would actually probably be finished right about now.
Yeah, because the end of the level is like physically close to the very start. So there's actually a way to get to it, but the collision just isn't loaded, and neither is the trigger for the end of it.
For some reason later on, you can go to the same exact place, and the collision is loaded in, and so is the trigger.
Yeah, it's just another instance
So,
of rooms being stupid to load.
yeah. So the inconsistency in the programming of the game basically caused us to watch this 5.5 minute level.
Here, instead of going directly to the mine, we're gonna go on top. Actually, not really on top. More like a few jumps on the wall.
On the side.
Yeah. And by entering this without hitting the trigger for the fight, it skips the fight spawning and the fire spawning, which is nice.
Yeah, it saves a good amount of time. This is one of those random rooms where you actually kill yourself in without anything interacting in the room. All you need is an enemy and it will push you underground if you do it correctly, which is fun.
This room, there's that laser gate, and we can go over it pretty easily, but going back requires a wall jump and then a damage boost, which means taking damage and then waiting for the damage invincibility to expire. That skips having to push the minecart completely, and another use of Clyde. That right there was dying, but having a cutscene revive us. It just lets us get as close to the laser gate as possible, because lives are not really a problem for the task.
Yeah.
Right here, we're going to do a void out for later on. It's going to spawn an extra enemy, which is going to save 5 seconds. That void out only took like 2.5. So it's faster overall to void out there.
This is actually the shortest Spectral fight in the game.
Yeah, it's... I don't know why it's here. They're just kind of filling their
For some
quota.
reason, someone just thought that Spectral fights were fun, and they were really wrong.
Yeah. This is an example of lack of polish. This elevator just keeps whatever animation you had going.
So, fun fact, like you're like very like if you do a rev roll jump at the exact last frame and try to hit the elevator lift, one you'd soft lock unless you land on a specific place of it, but two you're like about like I don't know how many units away, but you're really close to just being able to skip this small part of the level.
Yeah. This fight was the one that had all 6 enemies spawn, that's why it was so fast. That's what the Void Out helped with.
Now time for a scorpion fight.
This propeller is actually, it's in the same room as earlier in the level where we did that cactus jump and the Clyde stuff. But you can't really get to it because there's a void plane and not enough collision. But
Yeah,
even if
you can
could,
actually...
Here, you finish what you're saying, and then I'll...
Yeah. I was gonna say, you can actually almost get right up there, but there just isn't enough collision out of bounds to allow you to fully get up there. But if you could, theoretically, you could grab the propeller
Yeah.
and then get back down again, theoretically.
Yeah.
And that might actually save time, skipping the fight in the other room.
But if you got the propeller, you wouldn't be able to just go back the way we do normally.
I think it would.
Because that door's locked.
Actually, be really interesting.
Yeah, I wish it was possible.
Yeah, like every other skip in this level. So, next we have the best 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the skip, or of the TAS. So be sure not to blink.
PacMan Battle. It's basically like what was at the end of Benny Wastelands, except a separate level, completely on a timer, and with a floating wooden pole. Just like last time, except this time we're actually gonna interact with it a lot. Hope you enjoy. This is basically the intermission. So if you need to take a bathroom break, now's the time. Or if you're watching this as a VOD, you may as well just skip ahead. Approximately 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yes, fun fact, there's a glitch associated with PacMan that you can get him to move at the end of the level, and he'll be away from the camera and you can make him run back into it, and it's pretty funny, but we couldn't replicate it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually tried for like an hour messing with stuff, and I couldn't get close. You just got really lucky. Or you knew what you were doing. Who knows?
It's more like a fun Easter egg. So
yeah,
really
it wouldn't actually save any time or anything, so...
It's just like, it's really funny because he starts out of frame when the level ends, and then he just moves in like twirling his arms. Also, at the end of the level, you can see Pac-Man walking in the background where that little house is, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's the true highlight of the test.
So I guess something that might be hard to distinguish because of whatever the hell you want or shade of the bars. The bar on the right is PacMan's health, and the bar on the left is the timer for your tornado arms. Which
yeah,
it's really hard to
just
see
looks
anything.
really bad. I think they went for a futuristic look, but it looks like it was made in MS Paint on like the day before release.
I think MS Paint's a bit generous.
It's pretty harsh. I think you're right though.
Like, honestly, it would have looked better if like a kindergartner drew it, because it just wouldn't, because you'd actually be able to visibly see it, even if it was like...
Yeah, it's completely true.
It's like, they crank the brightness up so high that it just outshines all the other colors. Like, if they had like a black outline around it, I actually think it would look fine.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. And it looks like the Pepsi logo on the left, color-wise. So
if you pay attention now, you'll see Pac-Man running.
Yeah,
even though Pac-Man's in PacMan.
Right. So he's in two
and
places
if that
at
box
once.
wasn't, yeah, if that box wasn't there, you'd be able to see Pac-Man.
Damn, should have destroyed it. this is Stonebridge. Casually, it's one of the longest levels, according to the people who did walkthroughs of it, although they were really slow. But in the speedrun, it's pretty fast.
It's actually one of those slower levels in the TAS, I think.
It's pretty short. It's like 3 minutes. It's kind of slightly faster than average. We skipped the red crystal there. And
a cutscene.
yeah. And now we're just gonna go on this bridge.
And skip a few minutes of the level, no big deal. And that's kind of like the end of the appeal of the level.
Yeah, from this point, I mean, this fight, casually as hell. This is around the time when they started really ignoring any kind of principle of game design and just putting in a bunch of unfun elements right after one another.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, though, we are fast and can skip most things.
So, I guess if you played this game casually as a kid, you deserve a reward of some sort. I don't know what kind of
I
reward
just feel
you'd
bad
get.
for you if you did.
Yeah. Like, this game just kind of feels like a compilation of levels they just kind of made.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it casually, so maybe the lore makes more sense.
We're just gonna do some more super jumps here. Skip the rest of this room.
I guess fun fact, the last TAS was 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 28 seconds.
25.
Or 25 seconds.
0.30. Very important to know.
And the RTA run that I first saw before I started glitch hunting this game was 1 hour, 56 minutes, and a few seconds. And now the time for that is 1 hour and like 28 minutes, and it can go down to like a 120. So in the last like year, a lot of stuff has been found.
This section we can take a few small shortcuts. Like right here, do a ledge grab that you're not supposed to be able to do.
Yeah, that ledge grab's dependent on perfect jump RNG.
Yeah.
And it can take upwards of like 5 minutes to get the perfect height in RTA.
Yeah. Can be bad. So super jumps. Let us skip most of that climbing section.
Which is nice.
Now Irwins Fortress.
So if you don't like how the game looks, then rejoice, because you won't be seeing a lot of the level.
Yeah, there's some invisible stuff.
There's a lot of out of bounds stuff in this level, more so than any other level, except maybe Kokeka Heights.
I feel like the out of bounds in this one's more prominent.
Yeah, I agree. That's like the only other level I could think of. I guess in terms of like the percentage of Gunden tests it pretty well.
Here we're doing a super jump and moving around while invisible, and then doing some camera manipulation to load this room in. Normally that room, it just wouldn't be there. You could hit a cutscene here and like void out, and then you would be able to skip it, but that cutscene's 20 seconds long, so the test kind of has to do the camera manipulation.
And it is proclaimed that Pac-Man is bright yellow and hardly built for stealth in that cutscene.
Yeah, sadly we missed it.
And then right after this, we're gonna miss another gem.
We only need one of these door things, because that lets us just get on top of this room and completely skip a fight and a bunch of movement. More invisible stuff though.
Yeah, so the reason that skip works is because there's a bunch of invisible collision that you can jump on and get to the very top of the room, and then there's a seam on the top that you can just go across.
Yeah, so we have to void out here to get stuff to load back in, because the game just doesn't load 2 rooms ahead, ever. Unless you load stuff back in.
Yeah. I guess in that fight that we skipped, there was a line of dialogue. One of the other really good lines in the game, where one of Pac-Man's sidekicks is like, "I saved the world once," and then Orson, the Talkman operator, says, "No, you didn't. Shut up." So it's if there's any reason to play this game, it's to hear those two pieces of dialogue. Just use the unlock all levels cheats and beat this level.
So we just
So this
use
is the
Clyde to destroy that box, but we don't actually need to use Clyde to fight the monsters. And this is the only use of Pinky.
Yeah.
That's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, it was.
For some reason, you can just activate these platforms through the floor.
Because that works for reasons.
And they left a little hole here. We're just gonna slip right through.
There's actually no ceiling in this room, so you could actually go over it and stuff and do some shenanigans if you were heading directly down after this room. Which you can actually get above this room and have fun with the nothingness. In this next room, there's a really long fight sequence that we're gonna skip by just going under the door. But there's actually a way to skip it by going over the door, which is a lot more like, visually appealing, but a lot slower.
This room, we're just gonna use some damage boost to make it slightly faster. Like right there, and then we're gonna use one on the next platform.
Yeah. I'm also pretty sure that I'm the only one who's ever seen the other meth skipping that last room. I'm pretty sure you didn't see it.
No, I saw your video.
But
I think you made a video.
Okay. Did I?
I honestly
Okay.
don't remember that well though.
So right now we're just doing a super jump and
yeah,
exploiting some collision that should be there that isn't.
you'd
And
normally
going
have
up an
to
elevator.
basically do the same thing twice in that room, but we
Please
only have to do it
out of
once.
bounds. Something is wrong, I agree.
Something's really wrong. Hitting this button causes the level end trigger to appear. Normally we would just take an elevator to get it, but that's slow, so we're just gonna do a wall jump. End the level. After this is Gunden. Arguably the coolest level in the TAS. Maybe second coolest.
It's the MVP of the TAS.
I like this
There's
level.
lots of like really cool accidental skips in this level.
Yeah.
I think this level's like about 4 minutes, maybe less. I'm not sure what the final time was for it off the top of my head, but in RTA it's like more.
RTA it's like 7.
Yeah.
This entire section we can just skip with a super jump. The problem with the super jump is that normally you would unload Pac-Man if you just try to go too far forward, but you can avoid doing that and still get to the top platform, which is nice.
So we're about to exploit an infinite reveral and walk on a bunch of out-of-bounds collision. And then we're going to do that some more on the other side, skipping one of the longest fights in the game.
Yep, right here. Just go right through. That fight was really... it was like 1.5 minutes, plus a Spectral fight and a long cutscene, so... it's really nice that EMP found that.
It's the skip that I wanted to find the most since starting to, since I first
remember
saw the
you
game,
looked
so
for
I'm
it
really happy I
multiple
found that.
times.
Yeah. I looked for everything multiple times, but that's probably one of the ones I spent the most time on. So right here, we're actually taking a pack dot chain instead of doing a pseudo super jump because there's an alternative way to skip it without waiting 20 seconds.
Pseudo super
Instead, we
jump
just
is
wait
that
like
thing
10.
that we did in Spectral Cliffs. That took forever.
Yeah. Instead, we can do this and save a bunch of time over that.
This skips
Just doing
another
it
use
roll.
of Pinky
And
another
Clyde.
use of Clyde.
Clyde twice.
You
Usually
would
that's-
actually do Pinky twice casually also.
Yeah. You'd have
Actually,
to
no,
do
you would
Clyde
do
twice.
Pinky twice. Yeah, you skip 2 uses of each.
this is the skip that I was talking about that Woofer found on
Yeah.
accident.
So this green guy, he kind of doesn't have collision right away, and because his collision appears, you can use it just launch you over that massive wall. That saves
And that
40 or 50
saves-
seconds.
Yeah.
But because
is
of
why
that,
my
Pac-Man's
estimates-
invisible.
Because of that, my estimate's 40 or 50 seconds off.
Yeah.
So, if you remember the Infinite River, we skipped that really long fight near the beginning of the level. There was actually the original way that I found it has not ever been replicated, so it's good that I found the alternative way to do it.
Yeah. The original way was
You-
an infinite revel in a different spot, but there was just no way to get high enough consistently at all.
Yeah, like it's like TAS not viable.
TAS only.
Yeah, just like one cycle for Gigatron.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did the cutscene or the cut. I think there's a cutscene skip that you did there.
Yeah. I was in the
So-
old TAS, but the movement was cleaner. So we skipped that first room here, skipping a cutscene right there.
And one of my favorite pieces of movement is right here, just this infinite river roll up the slopes.
Yeah. Infinite revels are just really nice.
They're satisfying.
That skips that Spectral fight. The problem
You
is
still
the
have-
fight is still active, so we void out here. You actually can do the second fight without voiding out, but you need to eat some of the spectral monsters from the first fight, and they don't count towards the second fight's total. So basically, voiding out's faster, as far as I can tell.
And a lot of you might think, wow, what is there left to skip? And there's plenty in the game. Not so much in this level. There's one big theoretical skip in the level, which is like about 75% of the way done, but impossible. Like, at least impossible with current tech.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other theoretical skips that are big. But they're, like, highly unlikely.
This room is
At the
done
moment.
even lazier than the other rooms that were similar in Spectral Cliffs and Spectral Vale, because you can just revel jump between everything. It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
very long room, but not really.
But because of his guessing power, he
Yeah.
knows what the platforms are. So this level is basically a carbon copy of Spectral Vale, but inverse.
Yeah, we're
So
going through the same.
if you're like, this looks familiar, that's why. Including the skip that you definitely haven't seen before that's coming up.
Yeah, we're just gonna grab the ledge again.
Like, you know your game's bad when glitches are recycled into different levels.
This cutscene is really silent, lazy, boring.
Sad. So this is the area with the theoretical skip that I was talking about. Essentially, this is like maybe a 1 minute 20-second fight or so in the TAS, but it's a lot longer in RTA. And the way to skip the fight is you knock down 2 of the portals, and then you'd be able to go on top of one of the pillars that comes up and go back to the save point and end the fight early, but there's no way to get back to this big island once you get back to the save point to end the fight, so you're just kind of stranded.
Yeah, it would be the same glitch that we did in Gogeka Central.
Yeah,
So
except for the save
yeah.
point.
Because save points, if you activate them, you don't even have to save, it'll just set a checkpoint, and the checkpoint advances the phase.
So I technically credit myself with finding that skip. It's possible with Moon Jump.
Yeah. That's true.
It's actually not. It would not be possible on GameCube if it was possible, because you need to abuse the portal bouncing mechanic on PC to get on top of the portal.
Yeah, that's the end of the fight, but we can get onto this platform that's going up. Right now, it's
And
a 1-minute boring room.
yeah, it's actually the laziest room in the entire game.
I worked really hard on the movement though, so please appreciate it.
There's about 5 fruits in this room, which are supposed to be hidden throughout the level. And there's 5 referral plates, I think. Yeah, there's 5.
Yeah, they just kind of put the fruit here.
So after this is the final level. And it's an experience. Although I think the original iteration of a skip that's going to happen was much better than this version visually. It's a lot quicker now. Which isn't the most important thing in a speedrun.
How it looks is much more important, actually.
Guess you should have done the cooler method then.
I personally think this one's cooler.
I think the original Shadow Temple skip's a lot more eye-popping.
I'm gonna pop your eyes out.
Hurry along, irritant.
We would normally need to do in this level at the very start 3 separate fights to move a platform down, but because of infinite rev rolling, we can get down to the very bottom of the level in just 10 seconds. So now we're just getting to another section. You can skip this also.
Yeah, and that's the final level.
Yeah, now we're just getting to the boss.
That's the last level. So, fun fact, you can actually skip the final boss.
You can make the final boss disappear. It's not skipping.
Technically skipping. It's not skipping to the credits, though.
We're gonna 2-cycle this fight also.
Yeah, this is 2 cycles done in RTA, so it's pretty easy. It's pretty much a clone of the Gigatron, right? Except now it's Tetatron or Terratron.
Yeah, and the crystals are actually on top of the things now.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I commend them for that. And there's 4 crystals. So we're just gonna do rev rolls once again because they're fast. Do lots of damage.
So right here we have the other 2 ghosts. Whatever their names are.
Inky and Blinky,
Ah.
I think. Except they messed up the colors in this game, so
And Pac-Man World 2.
yeah.
They swapped Clyde and Blinky. So, feels Orange Man. So this is, I got an up warp here where I literally just flew like 100 units in the air, very slowly. If you remember that.
Yep.
And that's time.
Yeah. That should have been sub 58. The actual final time is at 57:59.95. It was 3 frames below 58. So yeah. That is the TAS.
Yeah.
The original
So,
goal was just sub 1. EMP's estimate was, what was it?
58:34.
Yeah.
So basically the length of that skip.
Duncan Gunden ruined estimates. Tragic.
Yeah. Tragic.
My Terratron is dead. You killed it. Why must you destroy my giant robot death machine?
It's Terratron, apparently.
You're
Yep.
finished, Irwin. You should have used build your death machines, world
It should have been called Tetratron, but whatever.
for good instead of evil.
It's finished, all right, Pac-Man. But only for one of us.
For you.
Well, yes, it's entirely possible when one considers things have not been going well. What am I saying? Even now, my magnificent machine.
So we're just gonna watch the rest of these cutscenes, and then in the stream.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Always keep your feet on the ground, Irwin.
Any final thoughts on Pac-Man World 3, roughly? As neither of us are probably going back to it for a long, long time.
I'm gonna submit to AGDQ and get rejected. That's the plan.
Okay. Well,
I'm not
any
really
final
sure.
thoughts on the tasks and the progression of the game?
It was cool. I can kind of give a brief history of the game right now. So,
Home sweet.
around 2 years ago. Actually, no, I'm just gonna wait till after this cutscene. People can enjoy it. We'll get to the real history stuff.
Hi, honey.
Because I don't want to try to talk over this beautiful dialogue. It'll just tilt me.
Clyde, long time no see.
This birthday cake's delish, Mrs. Munchie. Guess my party invite got lost in the mail.
It's Ms.
Clyde's voice is actually really beautiful. I appreciate his accent.
Hi, Mrs. Munchie. Hooray, more ghosts. Well, guys, I'm afraid we only have enough cake for exactly none of you. If that.
Oh, hey, look! This cake has Clyde in it! Yay, Clyde!
Cool! I never tried a Clyde cake before.
Was sorry to drop in like this, Ms. P, but we had nowhere else to go.
I assume you have a logical explanation for your whereabouts?
An insane little man with unresolved issues attacked the Spectral realm. But he fell into a beam of raw power, so he won't be doing that again soon.
Aw, beams of raw power are cute.
Anyway, Orson's working on fixing up the Spectral realm, and we'll only be here a while, a few weeks, or months, tops. What's for dinner?
You are.
You heard the lady. I believe now's the part where you run.
Oh, come on, Munchie. You don't want to eat me. Think of all we've been through together. Okay, bad example.
This is some great father-son bonding.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the stream, just the gameplay version of this will be available on YouTube, and also the VOD, but yeah. So, 2 years ago, I started looking into this game randomly because Wind Waker was getting boring. So I went through like the first 4 levels and found a few skips. And some other people, including the Rusman and Lori DeBeaver. I don't know if that's how you say the name actually. But yeah, those people started doing runs. The very first speed run of this game was 6.5 hours. I wouldn't even call it a run because it was basically a let's play, but slower than that. It got beaten on basically the same day with a 3.5 hour run. And up until around 1 year ago when I started working on the first test of this game, the record was 2 hours and 39 minutes. So the first test beat that by over an hour. Then I did RTA runs. Beat the first test that I did with a time of 1:28. And then redid the task, and now it's under an hour. So this game has gone through a ton. There's a playlist of random strats for this game, and it has like 130 videos or something. And that's all within like the last year or so, which is really cool. I'd say RTA wise, this game's pretty cool. People should try it, but probably the coolest thing was just looking for stuff and finding stuff with certain people. Like, I'd say almost all of the skips were found by me or EMP or... Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, there was also
Yeah.
Venick, Prince Ralis, Lori...
I'd say me and you found like 80%
yeah.
of the skips.
Very high percentage was found by us too. I found all the easy ones. EMP found the very complicated ones because I'm not as good of a glitch hunter. But it was fun. It was a fun journey. And now this is basically like, this is the peak of the game.
Hmm.
Maybe some stuff will get found in the future, but I'm definitely gonna kind of take a break from this game for a while.
Yeah, I actually like finding complicated glitches so much that I found more complicated ways and that are slower to skip other things
Yeah.
that are already skipped.
So yeah, that's the end. Thank you all for watching. And
Remember to check out my Meet the Robinsons World Record video.
yeah, Disney's Meet the Robinsons, also under an hour. Goodbye.